It's always the worst nightmare for any role player to be a crucial part of a title team, then all of a sudden find themselves in a rebuilding franchise, wasting their career till retirement. Not the most rewarding way to end their time in the NBA. How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. Remember when Mario Chalmers traded late 2015 from his beloved Miami Heat, found himself on a 22-win Memphis team last season of his career? Now, nobody even remembers him being on Memphis. How about Aaron Baines, former champ with the Spurs, good center for Brad Stevens Celtics, wind up with the struggling 2021 Raptors, finding the most forgettable ways to end their NBA careers? Some of these players on this list will find themselves on a contender by the deadline as a last-minute desperation option for hungry teams, but for the older ones who's lost a step could find themselves out the league after this 2024 season. Starting with Joe Harris of the Detroit Pistons, who many haven't thought of for a hot minute. 10 seasons in, the now 32-year-old former sharpshooter had his best moments with the Brooklyn Nets, earned himself more than a solid 4-year $75 million contract, knowing his role, maximized his strengths as a knockdown three-point sniper. Finally, in the final year of his contract, making a whopping $19.9 million on what could be the worst team all time ever since the meltdown of Brooklyn's so-called super team era, Harris simply hasn't been relevant. The second round pick of the 2014 draft, believe it or not, actually played a total 3 minutes 17 seconds. The 2015 finals, a rookie with LeBron's Cavs, by his second season looked like his NBA career over after Cleveland traded him to Orlando after season-ending foot surgery. The Magic waived him. The awful Nets picked him up with nothing to lose. A 16-point debut off the bench, found his identity with the young fun Brooklyn squad under great development coach Kenny Atkinson. After 2018, shot 42% from deep on 10.8 point average, earned him 2 years $16 million. Became a full-time starter, reliable, knowing his role, went off against bad teams at nights, would go 5 of 6 from 3, average over 14 points, 50% from the field, 46 from deep, from 2019 to 2021, at times able to cut to the rim, won the 2019 3-point shootout, considered a top 5 shooter in the game. Even former teammate KD puts Joe up there with the best in Steph Curry and Klay Thompson territory. Except for the postseason against elite defenses, Joey Buckets became Mr. Absolute Travesty No-Show Joe. 45.5% from deep, 2021 regular season, absolutely shit the bed when things got tough. A series that likely would have won the Nets the title, blew a 2-0 lead to Milwaukee, a chance to put his team up 3, game 3, went 1 of 11 shooting, easily could have been up 3-0, a disgusting 7-point average, 24% from deep, 8 of 33 games 3 to 7, a depleted Harden, plus after Kyrie went down, Durant literally having no help by himself, $75 million Harris, missing open shot after open shot, playoff intensity simply got to him, melted under pressure, especially when his teammates had nothing left in the tank. A minute left overtime, game 7, got the cleanest look, proceeded to miss, a moment that will haunt the Nets franchise for years. Not to mention, he was also terrible. 2019 Philly series, averaged 30 minutes, went 4 of 21 from 3 that series. A left ankle injury derailed his career late 2021. Had unsuccessful surgery, ruled out the 22 season, underwent surgery again in March, lost a big step in his game, no longer starting caliber, his points per game basically dropped in half. Nets traded his expiring contract to the worst team imaginable. When his shot's not falling, simply doesn't bring much else to the game, hasn't played in over a month. After first 7 games with a shoulder injury, everything's simply falling apart. Absolutely useless for this Pistons team. No surprise if Harris out the league after this season, why would any contenders even want him for the minimum, being so terrible in big playoff moments? Simply a poor man's version of modern day Nick Anderson without the defense, a career fading away after choking in big playoff moments. Otto Porter Jr., the former highly touted lottery pick, overall underachieved, being selected 3rd out of Georgetown, looked like the biggest bust first 2 seasons, but slowly progressed, became a respectable 3-and-D 6'8 wing, backed up Paul Pierce's second season, became solid 2017 to 2019. Washington gave Porter Jr. a max 4 years $100, matching the Nets offer, but regressed in his mid-20s when he's supposed to be hitting his prime. A multitude of injuries, a combined 42 games played in 2020 and 2021, Went from the max to vet minimum, age 28 with the Warriors, a huge bargain, underrated contributor to their title team, averaged 8.2 points, nearly 6 rebounds, 20 minutes a game played in the playoffs, the type of player who was always at the right spots, made timely shots. Golden State absolutely miss him coming off the bench, would be in the end of game closing lineups, but after leaving Golden State, went back to his injured ways, signed 2 years $12.4 mil, took his talents to Canada, loves the city, his wife also from Toronto, a main reason why for choosing the Raptors over Golden State, has season-ending foot injury after playing just 8 games last season, now a lackluster 3.1 points, 9 games through December to start, now viewed as robbing the Raptors after picking up his option. Before the start of this season, here's Steven Jackson saying some mean things about Otto's absence.
When you got so many players that then got good money that ain't done shit. I'm talking about that then got $100 million. Otto Porter, where he at? He got 100 in Washington. We ain't seen him since.
Kelly Olynyk of the Utah Jazz, the former dirt team pick out of Gonzaga, already in year 11, coming off one of his best all-around seasons, started 68 games, averaged 12.5 points, career best 6.2 boards, 50% from the field, over 39 from 3, played above 28 minutes, to now, coming off the bench, wasting away 7.6 points average in 21 minutes, from having big moments for the banged up 2020 Miami Heat finals team to ending up on bad teams from Houston to Detroit and Utah. One of the most interesting role players, having monster playoff moments we'll never forget, whether it's ticking out Kevin Love's shoulder 2015 or turning into Larry Bird Game 7 2017 versus the Wizards, or the unexpected outburst 24 points 9 rebounds Game 2 followed by 17 and 7 Game 3 of the 2020 finals. One of the most roller coaster players, from looking like Dirk one game with the long bombs to then giving up wide open layups without any resistance. One of the reasons why Utah didn't start tanking earlier last season, Olynyk simply balled out, will be a free agent after 2024. At this point, you think he want to be on a contender. Given how much Danny Ainge loves Kelly since the Boston days, you never know where he will end up. Maybe back to Boston again as Kristaps Porzingis injury replacement. His modern game can fit in just about any NBA offense, especially after the 2023 FIBA World Cup playing for Canada. His name slept on for now, but in a few months, don't be surprised to see Kelly O break his opponent's hearts with clutch daggers for a playoff team come April and May. Tyus Jones of the Washington Wizards, finally a full-time starting point guard, but literally on the second worst team, an 11.5 assist guy, not a star, but just solid. Good court awareness, a high assist to turnover ratio. The now 27-year-old, the final year of his deal, making 14 mil. Memphis missing him extra. The more games Morant can't play, dealing with his 2 best players who only cares about getting numbers at this point and do what they please. Ty has always been mature, composed, professional, the type of guy who could excel coaching a high-level team after his playing days, but stuck with the erratic, selfish, out-of-control Jordan Poole, his team in all sorts of mess, and he deserves better. Could go from irrelevancy the next couple months with Washington to all of a sudden making winning plays for a team like Miami come 2024 postseason. Jones never got the chance to shine in the playoffs when Ja's playing 40 minutes a game. Even Wizards fans praying he gets traded to a good team with his efficient floaters. At times, Jones might sit on the bench for a long time due to the team's apparent tanking ways. Absolutely a valuable asset for good teams, but on Washington, Tyus Jones simply just another Monte Morris 2.0. Just look at how identical their stats are. Monte from last season, Jones 19 games and counting. Danilo Gallinari, super unfortunate time before the start of last season, tore his ACL, ended up playing 0 regular season games for Boston, now age 35, in the league since 08, a critical part to the 2021 Conference Finals Hawks. Off the bench for Washington, 16 minutes, 8-point average, went from one of the East's best to a dysfunctional circus. A 3-team deal that sent him and Tyus to Washington in the Marcus Smart package, $6.8 million on the year. At this point, no contender wants Gallo for a first rounder, likely a buyout candidate. The talent of his career after this season will have made over 200 mil. Clearly not the same with age, plus post-injury. Playing for the Wizards simply a waste of his time. Also taking some minutes away from guys like Denny Avdia and Corey Kispert. Many are already foreseeing Golden State sending one of their young bigs for Gallo this season could be his very last chance to help a contender before the knees go away for good. Alec Burks of the Detroit Pistons, stuck on one of the worst teams all time, clearly has more value than Joe Harris. 13 games played, 10.8 points in 20 minutes, right around his career average. It's clear Detroit needs to get rid of him for anything in return. The last year of his contract, another name many forgot he's still in the NBA. From getting okay minutes with the 2018 Jazz off the bench to having that anomaly 27-point game 1 with the Knicks, single-handedly almost helped New York win before Trae Young broke the hearts of the Garden crowd. Now taking away the development of Marcus Sasser, Burks averaging more minutes than the promising rookie, even playing over Jaden Ivey at times. I can see the Pistons called the Warriors to offer Burke and a pick for either Kuminga or Moses Moody, the type of guy who won't help a contender every game, but 1 out of every 10 contests have an insane outburst, being an unsung hero. Just like if Gallo and Olynyk don't end up on a contender by March 2024, all 3 could no longer be impactful NBA players after this season. DeAndre Aton of the Portland Trail Blazers. An absolute travesty of a number 1 pick. Given the size, being a physical specimen, his body resembles a little bit of David Robinson coming out of college, but the lack of motor and hunger for the game evident. After the impressive 2021 finals run, looked like a borderline all-star from attacking AD, holding his own versus Jokic, and punishing the Clippers before getting bullied by Giannis. When things get tough, Aton simply does not take his game to the next level. Looked like he peaked by age 23. As of right now, DA simply don't care about basketball. After getting humiliated by draftmate Luka Doncic 2022 semis, look at the nickname he gives himself. The audacity to quit on the Phoenix Suns last playoffs, go to a new team, having a chance being the guy, now to having his worst statistical season, under 13 and 11 average, went from KD and Book to Jeremy Grant and Shaedon Sharpe. Averaging the least shot attempts of his career, Phoenix still signed him to 4 years $133 after getting destroyed by Dallas, then acting entitled, being lazy, and beyond soft. DA's attitude smelling similar to Andrew Bynum, another super talented 7-footer, doesn't have the dog in him. Cries when the Suns just want him to play his role, play defense, get easy baskets, and hustle. To getting benched by Jock, who many didn't even know his name, Landale. Despite the downgrade trade for the older Nurkic, Phoenix absolutely doesn't regret getting rid of the lackadaisical Aton. I did not include guys like Monte Morris, who was okay with Washington after being a big rotational piece for Denver, still hasn't played a game for Detroit as of early 2023, a quad injury. Robert Williams might have peaked 2022 playoffs, 6 games for Portland, out for the season, underwent knee surgery, and John Collins, silent number with Utah, but it's clear he's not all-star material and not worth his contract, but looking like an above-average player for another 4 or 5 years. Which one of these players will end up making an impact in a future contender by the deadline? The ones above age 30, could this be their final season in the NBA? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. More great videos ahead soon. See y'all next time.